Before you even realize what's happening, the world you know starts to fade. The noise of cities, the comfort of familiar roads, the illusion of control, all of it slowly disappears. What replaces it is something heavier, thicker, alive. This is the moment where the Amazon rainforest begins to pull you in, not with force but with presence. A presence so strong that it feels impossible to ignore. The first thing people notice when they enter the Amazon is not what they see but what they feel. The air wraps around your body like a warm blanket you didn't ask for. Every breath feels dense, almost drinkable. Humidity clings to your skin, reminding you that this forest controls its own climate. The Amazon doesn't adapt to you, you adapt to it, or you don't last long. Above you, the canopy stretches endlessly. Giant trees interlock their branches so tightly that sunlight struggles to touch the ground. When it does, it arrives in thin golden beams, like light sneaking into a forbidden place. Below, the forest floor is dark, damp, and constantly moving, leaves, and that's when it hits you. In the Amazon, you are no longer at the top of the food chain. You are simply another creature trying to survive. The scale of this forest is almost impossible to understand. The Amazon covers millions of square kilometers, yet standing inside it makes you feel incredibly small. You could walk for days, weeks, even months, and still be surrounded by the same endless green walls. Paths vanish quickly here. The forest reclaims everything. Footprints disappear. Broken branches heal. It's as if the jungle is constantly erasing evidence that you were ever there. As you move deeper, life reveals itself in unexpected ways. A flash of blue darts past your face, a butterfly so bright it looks unreal. Tiny frogs cling to leaves, their colors warning predators to stay away. Ants march in perfect lines, carrying pieces of leaves larger than their own bodies. Every inch of the Amazon feels busy, purposeful, and strangely organized. But beauty here always comes with a warning. Some of the most stunning plants are deadly. Leaves that can poison your blood, sap that burns your skin. Flowers that smell sweet but hide toxins strong enough to kill. The Amazon teaches a brutal lesson early on. If something looks too beautiful, you should probably keep your distance. Water is everywhere, and yet it can be one of the greatest dangers. Rivers snake through the jungle, slow and silent on the surface, powerful beneath. The Amazon River itself feels endless, stretching so wide that it resembles an ocean more than a river. Its waters are dark, hiding creatures that move with quiet confidence. Fish with razor-sharp teeth, snakes that glide effortlessly. Predators that have mastered patience. Time behaves differently here. Days blend together under the constant shade. The sun rises and sets without warning, and darkness arrives fast. When night falls, fear feels closer, the jungle doesn't. Calm down. It becomes louder. Nocturnal creatures take control. Eyes reflect light from unseen places, sounds surround you, and your imagination fills the gaps with danger. For explorers and scientists, this is where curiosity battles fear. The Amazon holds answers that could change human history. Plants with medicinal properties that could cure diseases. Species that exist nowhere else on Earth, microorganisms that could reshape our understanding of life itself. Yet, accessing these secrets means risking everything. The forest doesn't reward arrogance. Many who underestimated it never returned. Stories of lost expeditions, vanished villages, and unexplained disappearances still circulate among locals. Maps are unreliable here. GPS signals fade. Technology fails. And suddenly, survival depends on instincts human have long forgotten. What makes the Amazon even more fascinating is that it feels ancient. Some trees have stood here for hundreds, even thousands of years. They have witnessed civilizations rise and fall without ever moving an inch. The ground beneath you carries layers of history, stories buried deep under roots and soil. As you stand there, listening to the forest breathe around you, a realization slowly settles in. This place doesn't exist for human entertainment, it exists because it always has. Long before roads, borders, or satellites, the Amazon was already alive, growing, evolving. And this is just the beginning, because the deeper you go, the more the jungle starts to reveal its true nature. Not just as a forest, but as a living, thinking system that protects its secrets fiercely. By the time you take your next step forward, one thing is clear. Entering the Amazon is not a journey you control, it's a journey the jungle allows. The deeper you move into the Amazon, the more the jungle begins to change its behavior around you. It's subtle at first, the air grows heavier. The light becomes dimmer, the sounds feel closer, almost intentional. You start to sense that this forest is not just reacting to your presence, it's aware of it. This is where the Amazon reveals a side most people never see. Far from the edges where tourists take photos and researchers set up camps, there exists a world untouched by modern civilization. A world where humans live not as masters, but as equals within the ecosystem. Hidden among the trees are indigenous tribes who have survived here for thousands of years. They don't see the jungle as hostile. To them, it is a living guide. They recognize patterns in bird calls. They read warnings in the movement of leaves. They know which plants can heal a wound and which ones can stop a heart within minutes. Some of these tribes have chosen complete isolation. They avoid all contact with the outside world. From the air, their villages appear as simple clearings, barely visible beneath the canopy. These people have no immunity to modern diseases. A single interaction could wipe out an entire community. So the forest protects them by hiding them. For outsiders, survival here depends on learning quickly. Food is not something you simply find. Many fruits look edible but are toxic. Some animals can be hunted, others will poison you even after death. Clean water is rare. Rivers may look calm, but parasites and bacteria lurk invisibly, waiting for a careless sip. Predators are always closer than you think. Jaguars move silently, blending perfectly with shadows. They don't chase, they observe. Anacondas rest beneath the surface of murky waters, massive bodies perfectly still. Venomous snakes hide in plain sight, their camouflage nearly flawless. Insects, small and often ignored, might be the deadliest threat of all. Mosquitoes carry diseases that still haunt humanity. Malaria, dengue, yellow fever, one bite can change everything. Ants march in armies, capable of stripping flesh if disturbed. Spiders weave webs strong enough to trap birds. Even a simple cut can turn fatal in a place where infections spread fast. Yet, despite all this danger, life thrives here in unbelievable abundance. The Amazon is home to more species than any other place on Earth. Every step introduces something new, a plant no scientist has cataloged. A frog with colors that look painted by imagination, a sound that doesn't match any known animal. The forest feels intelligent in the way it balances itself. Predators control populations, decomposers recycle death into life. Nothing is wasted, even decay serves a purpose. This constant cycle creates an environment where survival is brutal but fair. As days pass, time loses meaning. You stop measuring hours and start measuring moments. The moment rain begins without warning, drenching everything within seconds. The moment fog rises from the ground at dawn, turning the jungle into something dreamlike. The moment you realize how fragile human confidence truly is, many explorers who enter the Amazon spoke of a strange psychological effect. Isolation here feels deeper. The forest closes in visually and mentally. Without clear horizons, the mind begins to drift. Sounds play tricks on your thoughts. Fear becomes quieter but more intense. Stories circulate of people who wandered too far and were never found. Not because they were hunted, but because the jungle absorbed them. Vegetation grows fast. Within weeks, camps disappear. Within months, paths no longer exist. The Amazon doesn't keep scars. And still, humans continue to push deeper. Scientists search for cures hidden in plants. Anthropologists document cultures before they vanish. Environmentalists fight to protect areas threatened by logging and mining. Every mission carries risk, but also hope. What's haunting is how closely. Survival here depends on respect. Those who listen, observe, and move carefully often make it out. Those who rush, dominate, or ignore warnings rarely do. The jungle has no mercy for arrogance. As night falls again, fireflies flicker like floating stars. The forest seems calmer, yet more dangerous. Predators hunt. Tribes gather around fires, sharing stories passed down through centuries. Somewhere, unseen eyes watch the darkness with patience. Standing in the middle of it all, one truth becomes undeniable. The Amazon is not chaotic. It is perfectly ordered in a way humans struggle to understand. It doesn't need us. We need it. And as the jungle continues to breathe around you, something shifts inside. Fear turns into respect, curiosity turns into humility. You begin to understand why those who leave the Amazon never truly forget it. Because once the forest teaches you how small you are, it changes the way you see the world forever. There comes a quiet moment in the Amazon when everything seems to pause. Not because the jungle has gone silent, but because you finally stop trying to control it. You stand still, listening, breathing, and for the first time, you don't feel like an outsider looking in. You feel like a witness. This forest has seen everything. It has watched ice ages come and go. It has outlived empires that once believed they were eternal. It has adapted to changes so slow and so massive that human history feels like a blink in comparison. And yet, now, the Amazon is facing one of the fastest and most aggressive changes it has ever known. What makes this moment different is not the threat itself, but who the threat comes from. For the first time, the forest is being challenged by a force that doesn't fully understand what it's destroying. A force that measures value in numbers, not in balance, speed, not in time, and still, the Amazon does not beg. It does not warn in words we easily understand. It simply responds. Rivers dry where trees disappear. Fires burn hotter where shade once lived. Animals vanish quietly, without headlines or goodbyes. Loss here is often invisible, until it's too late, but hope in the Amazon has always been quiet too. It exists in the hands of indigenous elders teaching children the language of the forest. It lives in scientists who dedicate their lives to understanding a single species. It survives in protected areas where trees are allowed to grow old again. Hope doesn't arrive loudly here. It grows slowly, like roots beneath the soil. Standing at the edge of this realization, something changes inside you. You stop seeing the Amazon as a distant place. It no longer feels like a jungle on the other side of the world. It feels connected to the air you breathe, to the food you eat, to the future you imagine. The forest doesn't ask you to live inside it. It doesn't demand that you become an explorer or a scientist. It asks for something much simpler and much harder: awareness, respect, responsibility. Because every decision made far away echoes here. Every product chosen, every policy ignored. Every moment of silence, the Amazon listens to all of it, even when we don't. And maybe that's why this place stays with people long after they leave. Not because of fear or danger or beauty alone, but because the Amazon reflects something back at us. Our power to create, our power to destroy, and our power to choose differently. One day, the jungle will change again. That is inevitable. The only unanswered question is how. Will it change because it was protected, respected, and allowed to remain wild? Or will it change because we waited too long to care? As you step away from this journey, remember this: the Amazon is not just fighting for its survival, it is silently offering us a chance to rethink ours. And if this story stayed with you, if it made you pause, wonder, or feel even slightly connected to a place you may never visit, then the forest has already reached you. Because the Amazon doesn't end at the edge of the trees, it ends with us.